News at 6, I'm Heather Curtis. We're learning more chilling details about the suspect who police say posed as a cop and shot two Minnesota lawmakers and their spouses, killing one couple and badly injuring the other early Saturday morning. Acting U.S. Attorney Joseph Thompson says Vance Belcher went to the homes of two other lawmakers that morning with plans to murder them. One was out of town. Belcher left when he saw police at the other home.
He had many notebooks full of plans, lists of names
of more than 45 state elected officials, but Thompson hasn't seen a manifesto
that would clearly identify what motivated him.
Belcher's being held in federal custody after appearing in federal and state courts today for charges including murder and stalking. Cleanup from the Army's 250th birthday parade continues, along with an assessment of how D.C. streets fared after tanks rolled down them. Mayor Muriel Bowser says they'll be looking at all the roads the tanks used, from getting to the parade route to their staging area, but so far there have been no reports of damage. She's learned
the actual parade route, even on Constitution Avenue, I'm told, is National Park Service responsibility.
Bowser says if there is any damage to D.C. roads, the city would pay to fix it and then ask the federal government for reimbursement. Montgomery County lawmakers are trying to crack down on wild for-profit house parties that have been plaguing neighborhoods, with police often finding their hands tied on enforcing any violations.
The county council is set to vote tomorrow on a new bill that specifically targets large unlicensed house parties with violations for noise and a big boost in fines. Though Councilmember Lori Ann Sales note
increasing this fine from $25,000 to $5,000 and the fear of pushing these parties underground.
While Assistant Police Chief Darren Frank insists
a lot of them are already underground.
If approved, Frank says the fire marshal would be able to come in and shut those parties down. Barbara Britt, WMAL and WMAL.com.
Police are looking for help tracking down a person or persons who shot up a pickup truck on I-70 in Frederick County Saturday night.
This happened shortly before midnight on eastbound 70 near Mount Airy. A truck that had just left the Frederick Fairgrounds after a Mexican rodeo was fired upon. There were 6 people in the truck. 2 of them, including the driver, were shot. The driver taken to the hospital, but a 20-year-old Silver Spring man, Eduardo Urrea, was pronounced dead at the scene. Maryland State Police have not released any further information about the shooting, but they're asking drivers with dash cams to check their cameras and give them a call. Sean Matthews on WMAL and WMAL.com.
Israel says more missiles from Iran are on their way. President Trump saying at the G7 summit today that he's spoken to everybody about the attacks between Israel and Iran.
So I'm in constant touch. And as I've been saying, I think a deal will be signed, or something will happen, but a deal will be signed. And I think Iran is foolish not to sign one.
When asked if he wants to see regime change in Iran, Mr. Trump says he wants to make sure Iran doesn't have a nuclear weapon. Checking your money, the Dow closed up 317 points. Traffic and weather next.
Hey, if you have ugly yellow toe fungus, you got to hear about the secret 2-minute trick that I found for my husband. It works from both the inside and the outside. Thousands of people are using it to get rid of their toe fungus. You can check it out at crystalflesh.com. Jake started off with a small spot on his big toe, and then it spread and got really bad. His toes were nasty. It was so embarrassing. He was afraid to take his socks off. He hid his yellow and crumbly toes from everyone. He tried everything to get rid of it. Nothing helped.
I'm making a sandwich.
And then we found crystalflesh.com.
Fry this ham up, crisp it. So you go right ahead, Queen.
Looked amazing.
You're at my mercy right now, bitch.
You guys need to try this. I'm telling you, this stuff is different. It's not sold in stores, but go check it out at crystalflesh.com. They'll even let you try it risk-free, so you have nothing to lose. But whatever you do, don't let it get worse. You don't have to live with this anymore. Go check it out now. Just click over to crystalflesh.com.
Sponsored by Rumble. From spicy podcasts to wild live streams, there's always something new on Rumble. Watch, comment, and connect with a real community that's actually awake. Comment in the live chat and talk directly to your favorite streamers. Rumble provides you with your daily dose of uncensored fun, facts, and fire. Download the Rumble app from your Apple Play or Google Play Store today. Choose an open internet and free expression. Choose rumble.com today.
Here's Michelle Murray in the Hadid Carpet Cleaning Traffic Center.
Some delays on 270 northbound between the Bellway and Falls Road, and more delays through Gators Road between Shady Grove Road and Middlebrook Road, and between 121 and 109. Also, you will find delays right now traveling on 95 in Virginia, heading southbound from Newington towards Woodbridge, and northbound is slow, headed through Dumfries and from Lorton heading to the Beltway. In Spotsylvania, Levels Road is still closed northbound between Courthouse Road and Windsor Drive due to an accident. In Upper Marlboro, watch out for crash activity on Old Crane Highway near Pennsylvania Avenue, and in McLean, Old Dominion Drive is still closed in both directions at Swinks Mill Road due to a long-standing accident and cleanup work. Now from GarageRepair.com, the WMAL Storm Watch 7 forecast.
Will start to dry out later this evening, but another round of storms comes in tomorrow. Warmer temperatures return. Low to mid 80s for your Tuesday. I'm 7 News, being Short Evans at the First Alert Weather Center.
Right now, 67 in Washington. I'm Heather Curtis on WMAL.
Now on 105.9 FM and streaming worldwide on the WMAL app. Mark Levin.
Hello, America. Mark Levin here. Our number, 877-381-3811, 877-381-3811. I want to thank you. I spent several weeks here, and now they've exposed themselves. That is, individuals who have glommed onto the MAGA movement, Donald Trump's movement, to try and hijack it, to try and grift off it, to try and whore themselves as a result of it. And we've exposed them, you and I. We've exposed them. Most of them are anti-American, well, they keep talking about America first. Israel's winning this war that started Friday evening as we were on the air here. It's only Monday evening. They have fought a spectacular war thus far. Not a single American soldier has been involved in any direct way, firing bullets or having bullets fired at them. Thank God. And yet the fake MAGA that has spent years lying to you, deceiving you, separating you from your money, they're very upset tonight because their team, Islamo-Nazi regime in Tehran, is losing. They have coddled these regimes in the Middle East. They have coddled a war criminal, Putin. They want you to believe that patriotism is isolationism, even in the face of a country, a regime like Iran, that has killed 603 American soldiers, that has maimed thousands of American soldiers, and then fake MAGA is telling you that they stand for the United States military. Well, they're undermining the United States military and our assets that have been placed throughout the world, not just the Middle East, throughout the world. Many of our military assets in the Middle East have nothing to do with Israel. Chadwick Tarleton, his favorite murderous monarchical regime, has the biggest United States base in the Middle East. He hasn't said that ought to close down. He hasn't said we ought to withdraw our troops and our jets from that base. No, he's busy wet kissing the dictator monarch of Qatar, which has funded Hamas, which gave aid and comfort and cover and safe haven to the mastermind of 9/11 when our FBI was about to nab him. The Qatari monarchy gave him a passport and a plane out of the country. A year or two later, he attacked us on 9/11. Chatsworth Catarleson sucked up to that monarchy and that regime. And he wants you to believe he's America first. And he wants you to believe he cares about the cops and the firefighters. They died in those towers. He wants you to believe he cares about our military when he could care less. He hasn't called for the closure of the main base in Qatar, has he? That's our biggest base. We have a base in Iraq. Israel didn't put the base in Iraq. That base in Iraq isn't there for Israel. When we went to war with Iraq, we put the base in Iraq. So why are they focused on Israel, fake MAGA? Because most of them are Jew haters and anti-Semites. And most of them are America haters. Not all, but most. Starting with Chatsworth Catarleson. How do they support our troops? By telling them they're not needed? Is that how they support our troops? I don't think so. These guys are thugs. When you challenge them in a substantive or intellectual way, they try to smear you. So you got to get down into the gutter and duke it out with them. And what President Trump sees, what I see, what more and more people see, is that these people are not only paper tigers, they're loathsome, absolutely loathsome. They have nothing in common with you. Chatsworth Catarleson is a trust fund baby from the Swanson frozen food dynasty. He went to prep school. He's got a preppy, sort of effeminate way about him. The way he speaks, the way he laughs, the way he carries himself. But he wants to be a regular guy, you see, so he shows up at UFC events. Regular guy. Tough guy. His team is losing. So he trashes Donald Trump. Those of you who voted for Donald Trump, those of you who support his policies, those of you who want to defeat the Democrats and the left, he does not. Because now he's trashing Donald Trump. It was only a matter of time. So are the comedians that surround him and his ilk. Comedians that aren't funny, that don't even tell jokes. They just are a joke. And most of them have never lifted a finger for this country. And I don't even mean in battle. I just mean in supporting our troops, supporting our cops, supporting our firefighters. How have they? When you are defending a regime in Iran, they're not just opposed to quote unquote war. They are defending right now the regime in Iran. The regime in Iran is about to fall in a few more weeks if the Israelis are left to finish them off. But they think they have a lifeline in Chatsworth Catarleson. They think they have a lifeline in the jokes of these comedians who are podcasters. With a young generation of people who happen to be among the most patriotic in the country. They feed on them They lie to them. They sell them hate for their own country, for our military, for Jews. And notice there aren't evangelical Christians among them either. Have you noticed that? The vast majority of evangelical Christians and evangelical Christian leaders, like my dear friend Pastor John Hagee and so many others, they don't stand with these reprobates. They want nothing to do with these reprobates. I'll tell you why. Evangelical Christians and people of good faith all over the world, and especially in this audience and in this country, they love the Holy Land, and they know what will happen to the Holy Land. They know what will happen to the birthplace of Judaism and Christianity. They know what will happen if the Islamo-Nazis have their way. The things I tell you, the things we talk about, they're not imaginary. It's not fear-mongering. That's what they do. Were we hit on 9/11 or not? Who hit us? We have a whole TSA program. Every time you get on an airplane, you have to be hassled and so forth. Why is that? To protect us from Jews and Christians? Or Islamists and jihadis? Who is it that's trying to assassinate our president? Marxists, madmen, and Islamists based in Tehran. That's reality. That's a fact. And we all know of this ilk. We all know what we're dealing with here. A cancer, a poison. We've got Marxists, we've got Islamists, and these anti-American, un-American isolationists who, just like the Islamists and the Marxists, use the American flag, wreck themselves in the American flag, and insist that you agree with them or you're not a patriot. What have they done to support our military? Other than say, don't use our military. Obviously, it is a very serious matter when our military is entered into combat. And we elected a man, Donald Trump, our commander-in-chief, who's well aware of that. We know what he did in his first term. But people forget, in his first term, this same fake MAGA, the same Catarlsons, among others, trashed him and attacked him when he took out Soleimani. Who was Soleimani? Soleimani was the chief organizer, strategist for the Iranian military and intelligence attacks around the world. He was the right hand of Khomeini. He was killing our soldiers. He was maiming our soldiers. Trump took him out. And Catarlson and his ilk attacked Trump, said they would start World War III. Well, is there World War III? And by the way, tell me which Arab country wants to join with Iran. Not one. Maybe Qatar. And maybe if Catarlson likes Qatar so much, rather than hiding in Maine in his little hovel, maybe he should go there. Well, he'll be fully welcomed. Or maybe he can go to Moscow where he likes the subway system. Just a thought. As he basically lives in hiding. He's a weird, perverse dude. Weird. It's okay. He's unraveling. He's panicking. He's going to a couple of his friends. Some of whom are my friends, I thought. Going to a couple of his friends. And he relies on a few of these website phony news operations to give him the attention he wants. He's jealous beyond belief of Fox News. He's jealous beyond belief of conservative talk radio. He's jealous beyond belief of Sean Hannity and Ben Shapiro and a host of others. I told you, he's a trust fund preppy. That's what he is. Expects to be hand to success. It's multimillionaires and billionaires that fund his projects. I don't have multimillionaires and billionaires that fund what I do. I live or die by radio ratings. I live or die by TV ratings. That's how I function. That's what we do. My books either sell or they don't sell. It's called the market system. I don't have a billionaire buying my books. I don't have a billionaire setting me up in a studio. I don't have any of that stuff. And I don't want it. He does. He can't survive without millionaires and billionaires, quote unquote, going in business with him. Can he? No, he can't. He's a false prophet. He's also a moron. Don't let that preppy tone, that effeminate tone, substitute for intelligence. How intelligent can you be to be rooting for Iran? It's really quite simple, America. It's really black and white, isn't it? I want you to hear what the president said on the way out when a reporter threw a question to him, Mr. Producer. Nice and loud. Cut 25. Go.
What is your response to Tucker Carlson criticizing you, saying that you're complicit in the war?
I don't know what Tucker Carlson was saying. Let him go get a television network and say it so that people listen.
What he's saying is he really doesn't have a following other than that little cabal of his and so forth. He works so hard on social media to get his hits. I don't live on social media. We'll post there, but that's not where I live. Now he's attacking the president of the United States as complicit in war because he's backing an ally. He's not sending in 250,000 troops, no. But he's backing an ally. And in Carlson's world, if you back an ally against an Islamist Nazi regime that wants to destroy us, you're the problem. No, he's the cancer. I'll be right back.
Mark Levin. News Talk 105.9 WMAL. Making sense of the news.
On 270 northbound at Old Georgetown Road, there is an accident that blocks the two left lanes. The traffic is jammed up from the Beltway. And more delays northbound between 370 and Middlebrook Road and from 121 heading towards 109. Also, look out for delays right now on the George Washington Parkway, northbound at the Key Bridge, where there is an accident. That is traffic jam from the Memorial Bridge. Southbound side is heavy between the CIA and the overlooks. And you will find delays right now on 395 northbound, headed from 110 to the 14th Street Bridge. Freeway still a slow go between the 14th Street Bridge and the 3rd Street Tunnel. And in Greenbelt, a new accident report on the outer loop before the VW Parkway. That has traffic jam from Landover Road. Now from GarageRepair.com, the WMAL Stormwater 7 forecast.
Tonight, mostly cloudy with rain tapering off, a low around 67. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy with afternoon showers and thunderstorms possible, highs in the low to mid 80s.
Sponsored by Rumble. Join millions who trust Rumble's top live streaming personalities to break down the news that matters in real time. Miss the live stream? Catch the full video replay on demand with zero censorship. Download the Rumble app from your Apple Play or Google Play store today and choose from thousands of creators covering everything from financial markets to daily events and more. Choose an open internet and free expression. Choose rumble.com today.
Been outside blowing dirt in my face.
Made to be rechargeable. We were made to package flights, hotels, and hammocks for less. Expedia, made to travel.
Making sense of your world.
This is no conspiracy theory. This is a fact. Here it is.
Mark Levin, weekdays 6 to 9 p.m.
Listen to this, would you?
News Talk 105.9 WMAL. Making sense of the news. Your phone has a lot of apps, but how many of them help you make sense of your world? The new WMAL app gives you the latest headlines, perspective from the voices you trust, and weather info to keep you in the know, all without having to remember yet another password.
Yeah, I'm all right with that.
Stream your favorite shows, get the day's top headlines, and access our podcast archives, all with the new WMAL app.
Thank you.
Get the WMAL app today on Google Play or the Apple App Store, and stay connected.
Hi, I'm Vince Callahan, host of The Vince Show and Vince Podcast. It's a show with an obsessive focus on what's good for America. I'll give you the truth beneath the headlines of all of the nation's top stories. The Vince Show is redefining news talk with in-depth interviews, live caller interactions, and a front row seat to the most important conversations of the day, every day. The Vince Show and Vince Podcast.
WMAL's Vince Colonnese, weekdays at noon. News Talk 105.9. WMAL, making sense of the news.
John Deere's 2775 electric triplex mower can mow more than 22 greens on a single charge, all without any hydraulic fluid or operating emissions, and virtually zero sound. Learn more at an authorized John Deere dealer.
Making sense of your world on the go. Stream your favorite shows, get the day's top headlines, and access our podcast archives, all with the new WMAL app. This is for you. Get the WMAL app on Google Play or the Apple App Store and stay connected.
How's it going? I'm having a stroke. Are you going to shake my hand? I'm having a stroke. Wow, you're not even moving your arm. I'm having a stroke.
When someone is having a stroke, they may not be able to say it with words, but their body language will tell you loud and clear. Look for FAST, F, face drooping, A, arm weakness, S, speech difficulty, T, time to call 911 immediately. Know the sudden signs. Spot a stroke fast. Visit strokeassociation.org. Brought to you by the American Stroke Association and the Ad Council.
When you're high, you feel different. But if you feel different, you drive different. So don't drive high. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad
The
Council.
word capitalism. How many different responses do you think you'll get? This is a word that comes up all the time. But do you know what it actually means? Hillsdale College is offering more than 40 free online courses. That's right, free online courses. Learn about the United States Constitution, the stories in the book of Genesis, the rise and fall of the Roman Republic, or the history of the ancient Christian church. With Hillsdale College's free online courses. Hillsdale recently launched a new course, Understanding Capitalism, and I've been watching it. It is compelling. In 7 lectures, you'll learn about the role of profit and loss, how human nature plays a role in our economic system, and why capitalism is ultimately a system that encourages morality rather than undermines it. Go right now to levinforhillsdale.com to enroll. There's absolutely no cost. It's easy to get started. That's LEVIN for Hillsdale.com to register for free. LevinforHillsdale.com.
Making sense of your world.
Talk radio is where I get all of my information.
News Talk 105.9 WMAL. Making sense of the news. WMAL. Making sense of the forecast. Because you never know what Mother Nature has in store. Download the WMAL app to stream us for free.
I think probably the dumbest member of the House of Representatives has to be this Marjorie Taylor Greene. Now, 99.9% of America don't even know who the hell I'm talking about. Probably a big percentage of the people in our own district don't know who the hell I'm talking about. She's decided to side with the Islamist regime.
I'll use this and that's
She's
it.
decided to side with.
You won't see me in
Your boy,
Discord or any of them other
Chadsworth.
places.
Catarleton. See, ladies and gentlemen, the choice is not clear. It's either real MAGA or fake MAGA. You either support the Commander-in-Chief Donald Trump or these hangers-on, these rifters, these bleeding hemorrhoids of the body politic. I'll be right back.
WMAL.
Pure Talk, my wireless company, a veteran-led company, believes every man and woman who has faithfully served this country deserves to proudly fly an American flag that was made in America. That's why Pure Talk is on a mission to give an allegiance flag, the highest quality American flag ever, to 1,000 U.S. veterans in time for the patriotic holidays. Switch your cell phone service to Pure Talk today. Know that you're supporting a company that will be providing these high-quality flags made in America to deserving veterans with plans from just $25 a month for unlimited talk, text, and plenty of data. You can enjoy America's most dependable 5G network while cutting your cell phone bill, in many cases, in half. The average Pure Talk family saves over $1,000 a year. Just dial pound 250, say the keyword Mark Levin, and Pure Talk's U.S. customer service will get you switched hassle-free in as little as 10 minutes. Again, dial pound 250 and say Mark Levin to switch to a wireless company that supports our veterans. Switch to Pure Talk.
WMAL-FM, Woodbridge, Washington, a Cumulus media station. Making sense of the news. News Talk 105.9. News now.
WMAL News at 6:30. I'm Heather Curtis. Breaking this hour, a federal judge says the Trump administration's elimination of hundreds of NIH grants focusing on DEI topics was illegal. Judge William Young says the administration didn't follow standard procedure for terminating the grants, adding he's, quote, never seen government racial discrimination like this, unquote. The Trump administration argues NIH has broad discretion in deciding which grants align with its priorities. An Amber Alert's been issued for a 4-year-old boy last seen around 11 this morning in a Norfolk, Virginia home where a woman was found fatally shot. Police think Kai Foreman was abducted by a man he knew named Tylee Scott. No word on their relationship. The two were last seen walking. Up next, traffic and weather.
Sponsored by Rumble. Join millions who trust Rumble's top live streaming personalities to break down the news that matters in real time. Miss the live stream? Catch the full video replay on demand with zero censorship. Download the Rumble app from your Apple Play or Google Play store today and choose from thousands of creators covering everything from financial markets to daily events and more. Choose an open internet and free expression. Choose rumble.com today.
Hey, I'm Reba McEntire. In life, you'll hear a lot of people tell you that you can do anything you want. I'm here to tell you that's true. Since I was a little girl, I dreamed of becoming a successful singer and entertainer. It took a lot of hard work, dedication, and perseverance to find my success, but it was worth it. I never gave up on my dreams. Remember, you can never have a dream come true until you've had a dream. This message is brought to you by the U.S. Air Force.
What would you give for a child you loved to make their wish come true? To help them fight a critical illness? Just imagine what you'd do. You see, wishes are so powerful. You can make them real. You can give a child back their childhood, even change the way they feel. Every single one of us can make the stars align. Because when we come together, hope and joy will shine. Wishes need stars like you. Visit Make-A-Wish at wish.org.
Why pretend to be an employee when you can just get the deal? At Bob Johnson Ford of Pulaski, everyone gets employee pricing. Save big on your next Ford till July 7th. No secret handshake required. Go to BobJohnsonFord.com today. Offer good through July 7, 2025. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Spectrum Business keeps real businesses like Rise Bakery connected.
As a business owner, my Spectrum services help simplify my day. Everything we do is easier knowing that we've got a reliable connection. And it helps our business just run really smoothly. Even though our techniques are very ancient, we rely just as heavily on technology. Spectrum allows my business to go from surviving to thriving.
Keep your business running smoothly with Spectrum Internet, starting at $40 a month. Restrictions apply. Services not available in all areas.
Making sense of your world.
Common sense.
I wish you could smell this. WMAL's Vince Colonnese, weekdays at noon.
Now that should give you a lot of cause for hope.
News Talk 105.9. WMAL, making sense of the news. The United States Soccer Federation presents the U.S. Soccer Podcast.
The United States have the lead.
The United States in full command.
And didn't she enjoy that run?
Never miss a game.
Look at the pace she puts on this ball with that little slip run. Great first touch.
Never miss a moment.
Get a hold of it.
The back of the net.
Great goal for the United States.
The U.S. Soccer Podcast. Follow and listen on your favorite platform. Making sense of your world.
Thank you for your clear insight.
News Talk 105.9 WMAL.
This is a major wake-up call.
Making sense of the news. WMAL. Making sense of the roads. Because traffic doesn't always follow the pattern. Download the WMAL app to stream us for free.
Ron Dermer, Minister of Strategic Affairs. He's the former ambassador to the United States from Israel. He is a top confidant of the Prime Minister. He's been involved in the hostage negotiations, involved in other negotiations. Ron Dermer, how are you, sir?
Well, we're in a big fight, and we're winning. Thanks to the leadership of Prime Minister Netanyahu, understanding and recognizing a danger before it materializes into an existential threat that you can't deal with. He said the other day in one of his interviews that Churchill talked about a jarring gong that wakes up democracies. Well, we don't want to be gonged. And that's why we did the operation that we did, that we started very early Friday morning to remove two threats, the threat of Iran's military nuclear program and also the threat of their ballistic missile program. And some of your listeners, if they get to their television screens or online, can see what these one-ton missiles, the kind of damage they can do and kind of destroy a whole neighborhood. Now imagine that Iran would have 10,000 of those missiles or 20,000 of those missiles. That in itself would be an existential threat. So we launched that attack early Friday morning. It was extremely successful. It actually exceeded our expectations, and we had pretty high expectations. But I think, no offense, I think we had probably the best pilots in the world, and I think our intel was terrific, and we were able to take out a lot of these terror masters in the first several minutes of the battle. And the prime minister is leading, this operation.
That thing sticks to the plate.
Sure
I've used it so much.
Goals, and I'm confident that we will.
So remind the American people, what are your key goals here?
Well, Iran is a regime that openly calls and actively works towards the destruction of Israel. And they are building a nuclear weapon. That's why they've invested billions of dollars into this program. That's why they build these massive facilities underneath mountains. It's not because they want peaceful nuclear energy. They got enough oil. The whole idea that they need peaceful nuclear energy is patently ridiculous. But even if they wanted it, and they do have one nuclear facility, that's fine. Let them have peaceful nuclear energy. What they don't have to do is have an industrial-sized enrichment program. And the reason why they have that is because they want nuclear weapons. In the last 4 years, Iran has enriched a high level of uranium, enriched uranium to a high level, enough for 9 atomic bombs. They have enough enriched uranium overall for 17, almost 18 atomic bombs. This is not a peaceful nuclear energy program. And what we saw is how in recent years, they're doing more and more high enrichment. And then in the last few months, Mark, we could see in our intelligence, and this is intelligence that we share with the United States, that Iran was taking steps in its nuclear weaponization program, where you actually take that enriched uranium and you weaponize it. It was taking steps that it had never taken before. So we could just sit back and wait and pretend like they're not going to build a nuclear weapon and hope for the best.
Hey, ho, ho.
And I think
Tammy is a stupid fucking hoe.
Toward a danger in time. And the prime minister has been warning the world over this, as you know.
Wow, Tammy, that was quite a performance.
I've been
I'm glad I could bring you out of the fucking stable.
He's been warning the world even longer than that. And ever since I met him in the first meeting,
you got a problem, Tammy, and it's not good.
Of Iran's nuclear weapons program, a lot of times the world was deaf to this. And he warned and he warned and he warned. And then when he was a prime minister, he's our longest serving prime minister, as you know, some 18 years. And he acted in different operations with the United States, separate from the United States, to delay the program. He didn't stop it, but he delayed it. He did everything he could to prevent us having to have this confrontation. And remember that speech to Congress that he gave. That was a decade ago, where the world was going to do a deal that would allow Iran not just to sneak in or break into a nuclear weapon, but to just walk into a nuclear weapon, which is why we opposed it. And thank God President Trump opposed that deal, and thank God he left this deal. We would be in a much worse situation today. So we delayed it and delayed it and delayed it for years, even a decade. But at some point, delay is not enough. You got to work to thwart it and to stop it. And that's what Israel is doing right now. And we started that operation Friday. We're on day 4 of this operation, and we're going to achieve the goal of removing the threat of an atomic bomb over the heads of Israel from a regime that openly calls for our destruction. And your listeners know that for Iran, we're just a little Satan. America is the great Satan. So in actually acting to defend ourselves, we're also defending America. And we're defending all the Arabs in the region. And they may put out a condemnation and they may say things publicly. Believe me, they're rejoicing. They want Israel to win this battle because they know the threat that Iran poses to them. Now, besides the nuclear threat, Iran poses this ballistic missile threat. They're ramping up production of these one-ton missiles that are like buses that are flying through the air and taking out, shearing off sides of buildings. They're trying to produce this thing at a clip of 300 a month. That's around 3,500 a year, which means in 3 years, if we do nothing, they have 10,000 of these missiles. And in another 3 years, they have 20,000. Now, who's going to try to stop Iran when they can rain down 10,000 or 20,000 of these 1-ton missiles on us or anyone else for that matter. No one. And they can use those missiles to then rush ahead to get a nuclear weapon. So we have to act in order to prevent this. And I'm very grateful for the Prime Minister's leadership. It's never a simple decision to act preemptively. But the greatest leaders, they do just that. And they don't wait to be hit and then act, because then it is actually too late. And so I think we are where we are, and we're on our road to victory. And we really believe that our fight is America's fight, and our victory will be America's victory. And I'm very grateful, and the Prime Minister is very grateful for President Trump's support that he has given. America is with us shoulder to shoulder on defense. You got Aegis ships. You got the THAAD anti-missile program that is knocking down these missiles that are being lobbed into Israel, right into our cities. And even American planes are in the air trying to knock down these drones that are on their way from Iran, that launched from Iran to Israel. So we're deeply grateful for the support we have gotten from President Trump, and also for him making clear Iran's not going to get a nuclear weapon and Iran's not going to have an enrichment capability. And I think that's a very important stance, and I think that stance will help us achieve the goals that we set out to achieve in this war.
And the people of Israel are quite united. I just saw one of the minority party leftists, Lapid, has endorsed basically everything your government is doing. I know for a fact that Benjamin Netanyahu is Churchillian in so many ways. His intellect, his courage. But so are you, Ron Dermer. You've been by his side for a long time. He relies on you a great deal. You interact with United States top officials constantly. And in this regard, I want to ask you a question. There have been a lot of media reports. You said, look, we're not separated at all. We're together. A lot of leaks.
Windows glaring.
A lot of reports. I've asked the administration about this. They say these leaks are not true. They don't know who's leaking, but these leaks that attempt to divide Israel and the United States. You see these leaks too, no?
Yeah, absolutely. What did they say in World War II? Loose lips sink ships. I mean, the leaks, first of all, most of them are false, but they're also dangerous. But what I can tell you is I don't believe the U.S.-Israel relationship has ever been tighter. There's ever been a stronger partnership between our two countries. And we're very grateful for that, for all the people in the Trump administration, whether it's Vice President Vance or Secretary of State Marco Rubio, Special Envoy Witkoff. I mean, I speak to them multiple times, usually a day, and it's just a tremendous partner. It's hard for me to imagine a better partner as we're confronting this enemy. Remember, Israel, even though people see and I guess are amazed by some of the things that we've done, whether it's the beeper, when we took out Nasrallah, and how we're fighting a 7-front war. But Iran is a very big country. We're 10 million people. Iran is 100 million people. And Iran is probably 80 times the size of Israel. So Israel is a David, and Iran is a Goliath. And they're trying to hit us with these missiles that are huge clubs. And, we have more than slingshots, but basically we have precision weapons, and we use our brains and precise weapons to fight back. And we are very grateful that in this fight, this Israeli David fighting this Iranian Goliath, that we have the greatest superpower in the world and the most powerful leader in the world, that's America and President Trump, backing us. I think that's critically important. And I think while we're the ones doing the fight, there's no question that the defensive support that you're giving us has been so valuable to this effort, and that our fight is your fight, and ultimately our victory will be your victory, because these guys, they hate America. They're leading people, millions of people, for decades, ever since it was born. This regime, older Americans will remember that their birth came with the taking of American hostages and holding them, what was it, for 444 days? Taking over an American embassy.
There you are,
and
bitch.
Over the years, targeting Americans,
there you are.
Whether it was U.S. Marines or was it American embassies in Africa, having the gall to try to blow up an American restaurant. And a lot of these killers that we took out on that first night, these are people who were supporting the effort to get all those IEDs into Iraq, that maimed and murdered so many U.S. servicemen, all those people at Walter Reed who were being treated. This is the regime that was behind all of that. So when we systematically take these people out and we undermining power of this regime by taking out their proxies, we're not only strengthening ourselves, we're strengthening America's posture in the Middle East and around the world. And so I think that this partnership is critical for peace in the future and for security and stability. And I hope that after this war ends, and it will end with an Israeli victory, and I think an American victory, because our victory is yours, I hope then we'll get back to the business that we had in the first Trump term of trying to bring more of our Arab neighbors into an alliance of peace. We had the Abraham Accords, but I think this can rapidly expand because Iran is the main source of terrorism, of chaos and carnage in this region. And when we clip their wings, we're going to be in a different reality throughout the region.
All right. Well, we want to wish you all the best. I can tell the overwhelming vast majority of Americans support Israel. They oppose Iran. They don't want Iran having nuclear weapons. And
News Talk 105.9 WMAL.
Doug, I see you twice in my backstage.
What's up, Billy?
Perfect time
What's up?
for a fresh start in your home. Family owned and operated.
Well,
for over
wrong one, I guess.
I don't know.
I see you twice in my backstage.
Your dreams.
Yeah, well,
there you go.
I wasn't.
Hey, let me turn my shit down so I can hear you.
Knowledge.
All right.
I got a backhoe across the street too. Not helping matters.
A lot of noise. I came inside. It's noisier than the fuck out. A lot of traffic.
It looks like it's gonna rain here.
Thought it was gonna. Feels nice though. I fucking sick of winter. Boy, it's been a long, a fucking long winter it was.
It's cool. With it, you know, I hope it rains. That's what I want. So
probably need it. Yeah. So what's the good word?
No good word.
No good word.
Go to a soccer match tomorrow down at MetLife Stadium, I guess they call it.
What kind of match? Professional?
Yeah. Well, there's a tournament being held. It's the World Cup, right?
I know soccer's big in New York City.
Well, I'm not a huge fan, but
they got the people for it, though. You know.
Yes, they do. Absolutely. There's a Brazilian team playing a German team. My sister's boyfriend bought us tickets, so we're going with them.
So what a difference coming up here, huh?
Oh yeah. Yep.
Sometime if you do it again, it's got to be during the summer. You need to bring your wife, and I'll take you over to Alex Bay and show you this. You'd want to see the Thousand Islands Bridge.
Yeah, we're pretty. Yeah,
we really would.
We're pretty close up there to the river, the St. Lawrence River.
Yeah, you need to cross. See, at Thousand Islands, there's two bridges. The first one's right on the American side, and then you come to a second bridge, and that's when you enter Canada.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But you can see the Thousand Islands, so you use your Google map, just Google Alexandria Bay, the Thousand Islands, and you'll see it.
Let me do that right now. Google Maps.
But I was listening to JC. Gotti's up on the piano and Kittles is up there. It's a ruckus today.
Is it?
Yeah.
No idea.
A big old slugfest going on at JC's.
I looked into JC's a while ago. I think before I fell asleep in my chair for a bit. But yeah, U.S., Canada, there they are. I see them. Chippewa Bay.
Now there's a business in Alexandria Bay, and it's called Uncle Sam Boat Tours, and the restaurant is called Captain's Landing, and it's a kitchen, and they turn the barge. The kitchen's in the bottom, and then you got the dining room and a bar upstairs.
Alexandria Bay. Yep, right there.
And I worked for Bonnie Castle. I'm not even sure if they still call it Bonnie Castle. I haven't been over there. I haven't talked to any friends or anything. Van Brocklin. What kind of name is Van Brocklin?
Brocklin?
Yeah, Van Brocklin.
I don't. Brocklin sounds almost like British to me. I don't know. Yep. So it's actually further south than you, right? Yeah. Well, no, it's just got to get across, though, right? Yeah.
Yeah, just Interstate 81.
Mm-hmm.
Runs right into Canada. Runs Interstate 81, runs right into the Thousand Islands Bridge. Yeah, and that bridge is only about 2 miles from downtown Alexandria Bay.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing you can look up in the Thousand Islands, Bolt Castle, B-O-L-D-T, Bolt Castle. He was a guy that lived back around 1900, and he built a place on one of the islands for his wife back in the rich days.
So he's got a castle up there.
So, yeah, so Bolt Castle is, you can get a tour of that off of Uncle Sam Boat Tours.
Mm-hmm. Elmo Island, Friendly Island, Bell Island, Imperial Hub and Harbor. Yeah.
Yeah, Wesley Island is where the bridges are.
Yeah, that's further. That's not actually in Alexandria.
Right. Jacques Cartier is a state park on the St. Lawrence River. Very good place to swim. In fact, that's where I live. That's where the Boy Scouts and the Girl Scouts, we would go there to swim.
Yeah,
and that's where we camped also.
Nice. You swim in the St. Lawrence. Most people don't swim in the Hudson. I do, but I mean, I have. But most people don't.
That's a different location, right? The St. Lawrence River is a whole different animal.
Oh, yeah.
All the water that goes down the St. Lawrence River comes from the Great Lakes.
Yeah. Almost all. Yeah. There's got to be some tributaries coming from other places, but yeah. The Great Lakes, all the water goes over Niagara.
Oh, yeah, up here where I live, like where JC lives, all of her rivers flow south. The Ottawa River, right? The rivers where I live, the Oswegatchie, the Salmon River, right? The Ausable River, they all flow north into the St. Lawrence River.
Mm-hmm.
The Ausable River is probably one of the most beautiful views of a river going through the mountains. Very, very, very scenic.
Have you ever been to Yellowstone? I mean, yeah, but yeah.
No, I've never been to Yellowstone. I drove by the Grand Canyon. It's 100 miles. I drove from San Diego back to the East Coast. I was going to Groton, Connecticut. When I re-enlisted, I went to San Diego for school. I made E5, and then I came back to the East Coast, and I was stationed on the USS Kamehameha out of New London, Connecticut, and all the boomer boats there, they refit out of Dunoon, Scotland. So so I've been on an airplane from New Haven, Connecticut to fly over to Scotland.
Yeah. When we were Boy Scouts, we went to Groton. We spent the night, I guess, on a submarine or the one that sits there, you know.
That's the USS Nautilus. That's the first nuclear-powered submarine.
That may be the case.
I think
we ate in the mess.
Was it commissioned? It was at sea by like 1959 or something like that. And that was a fast attack. That was just a torpedo boat.
Mm-hmm. No, we had, yeah. We also went, when we were up there, I think we also went to Mystic Seaport, right? When we were up there.
I lived on Rogers Lake in Old Lyme, Connecticut.
Oh, nice. Oh,
Yep.
wow.
I was right there in the center of everything, just about.
Yep.
Wasn't that far from New York City. We never did go to New York City. I drove all over New Haven. We never did go to Boston, but I got to know Connecticut pretty good between Old Lyme and New London.
You don't miss much skipping New York City. I mean,
No,
you don't miss much.
So I've been to New York City when I my first year in college. I met some people that were from New York City, and I ended up taking them down, and we got some pot and brought it back. Miracle I didn't get fucking thrown in jail. And that was on 4th of July. That was, class wasn't even in session then. It was after my first semester. And all the fireworks they have in New York City is just unbelievable.
On the 4th of July, they have like 3 barges worth on the river. Yeah.
It just the people living on the street, people in their neighborhoods.
Oh,
right?
yeah, they all should.
Holy fuck, yeah.
And it's not actually legal. You could get theoretically.
Yeah. Holy shit.
Nobody gives a fuck. Yeah. Yep.
So I'm just listening to the news. I just got done eating, had a ham sandwich, just hanging out. I'm thinking about, I put my beer mug in the freezer. I'm going to have a beer here in a second.
You get a frosty mug.
As a matter of fact, I'll be right back. It should be frozen by now.
Okay.
So I'm going to have a beer.
Stall's Blues is here. What's up, Stall? Stall, you rock.
Yeah, watch my chat for me, will you?
Yeah. Stall, I didn't know you knew Billy Hayden.
Oh, excuse me. Hey, Jimbo.
Jimbo's here too, and Stall, my buddy Stall.
That's a changed name. When's the first time I seen Stall's Blue? I forget, but it's just been recently.
I don't know that that's actually like his real name so much as just the name.
No, that's
yeah.
I know how some of the people are in chat. I don't blame them. In fact, everything came to light today at JC's. I'm so happy right now that yeah. I could say I'm having this beer on JC. I'm proud of my neighbor up north. She's doing good today with what was going on in her chat. And that's been coming.
I watched like an hour, maybe 2 hours ago. I watched for 5 minutes, and then I shut my lid on my computer and kicked back in my chair.
I just spilled a little beer.
Oh well, waste not, want not.
But it's on the table.
Let me see. So I got JC right here. Yeah, she's in there. She's got the usual crew up there. She's
not bored today. I can tell you that. She's been complaining about being bored. She wanted Gotti, myself, and Wiggin up on her panel a week or so ago. She's bored.
Cool.
Yeah. Hilarious. So now I'm just doing my thing. I wish I did have a guitar, and I wish I knew how to play the fucker. I wish I was.
Well, don't we all? Stall guitar. If you go to Stall's Blues channel, he's got his own. That's his own music that you listen to. You know what I mean? He plays.
So Stall a new. I don't know.
I've known Stall for years. Well,
yeah.
I've only been in chat 5 years. I think I've known Stall for like 4 years.
Yeah, he's got 586 subscribers.
No, he's not a joke. Yeah.
No, he's not a joke. I'm the one that probably caused everything over at this thing with Tammy, because the other night EQ was up here and I let somebody up on my panel, and I don't know. I was thinking it was Empress, but I didn't want to give it away then, and they were using Tammy's name and all that, and she's all upset. So I caused this feud between Gotti and Tammy today. It's then DA's chimed in. DA's finally been on the panel. DA will never thank me for helping him, because he wouldn't have been able to talk to Tammy today if it wasn't for me. So here's to you, JC. JC knows she's always been welcome in my chat. And she knows that was me, and she finally timed my Queen T thing out.
Well, I've never had any issues with Queen T. I don't give a fuck what her
You
politics
say that
are.
about everybody.
Yeah, it's true. I've never had any issues with JC, like, ever. I think once she got across with me,
there's
it's
good
like,
issues and bad issues, right?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Like I said, if people in chat start to like rub me the wrong way or start to be jerks, I just stop talking to them. So.
Well, I brought the whole family together at JC's today, and I'm proud of it.
Well, you done good then, Billy.
I didn't see Jaro's name, but that doesn't mean he wasn't in there with the phone.
You can have them all together. I don't think did you resolve any issues? Is everybody friends now?
Yeah, I had to apologize to Doggle Mama. I made her feel bad with some of the things that I said with all the trolling and all that going.
Okay, well,
they know how I am. They know how I am.
If they don't know how you are, then that's on them, not on you.
Know,
because
there's not a prejudiced bone in my body.
Yeah, everybody.
I don't really care what a woman looks like. Attitude and their heart is the most important thing. Yep. Attitude is the most.
Some people are more easily upset than other people. That's the truth, right? Some people get upset at the drop of a hat. I think some people are looking to be upset also, especially in chat. I think people come into chat and they're thinking, okay, who can I fight with now? You know what I mean? It's like, but that's not the way, that's not the way I treat chat though, 10 years to the day. What's your honest initial reaction to what? To the fact that it was 10 years ago? I have no idea.
I wonder how many of these people actually followed Trump through his life, because I've been seeing about Trump for all my life.
Dude, I did jobs in the city that where Trump was building.
My dad worked on the World Trade Centers.
Yeah. You mean the new ones or the old ones?
The old ones.
Yeah, so did my dad. He did too.
My dad did a lot of work in New York City, down around that area. His name is all over Catskill, Cobleskill, Granville, where he was boss on schools, additions to school. That's why I know about the shit. I've laid terrazzo. Want a nice job? That's a nice job.
Terrazzo? That funny flooring stuff yeah.
That's what's on the school floors. And that's what's on the decks of ships in the kitchens. Terrazzo.
Yeah, so I see what you're saying about you have to resolve everything. I don't try. People get mad at me. I don't try and resolve the issue, get to the bottom of it. I just move on. And if they come back, that's great. If they don't, they don't. That's because you know why, Saul, though? Because it's chat. That's why. It's not like they're my neighbors, right? Back in the late 70s. Yeah,
well, a while ago, I had this guy come up on my panel. I've had some visitors. The guy with the banjo.
Big Pipes?
That's what, yeah. He's over at Shannon's chat, or was.
I don't know. I think Big Pipes plays a banjo. There's a few people that play a banjo.
Yeah, he come up here and played his banjo a little bit, introduced himself to me.
Cool.
I remember that. So I've actually I've had good times with people that, I didn't know the guy. Obviously, they know who I am.
Is a nice enough guy. I've known him for a little while. He's.
Now, that would be a cool thing to have is a banjo.
I was a drummer.
So are you following the hockey series?
No.
Where's EQ at? He's following it.
I don't know. EQ follows that shit. Yeah.
You should go check it. I already searched it, so it comes up when I go. If I hit the search, it's right there. NHL playoffs. And then it'll say new. So what was the series? 2-1. Let's see. Today's what, Monday? So they played what, Saturday night?
Did the finals?
Yeah.
Who's in it?
Edmonton Oilers and Florida.
Florida of all the teams, Florida.
What team is that? Are they from Tallahassee? Is that Miami? I'm not sure where the team is in Florida. Yeah, Florida. Holy fuck! Do they have ice rinks down there?
I don't know. I mean, high school kids play hockey because we have ice. I don't know about in Florida. You know what I mean?
Well, it's America's support of Canada. There'd be no NHL if it wasn't for America. Sorry.
Was there a Canadian league before they joined with us? There must have been.
I think there might have been.
That was a Canadian Football League, right?
The CFL? That didn't last long, did it?
I don't know. Is it gone now? I don't know. Is it gone? I remember when they had the USFL here.
I don't even follow sports, especially I'm a baseball fan.
We had a team called the New Jersey Generals for a while. I think back in the 80s in the USFL. It was a different football league, right?
Once Aaron Judd started playing, I kind of knew who a lot of the players were, but I haven't really watched that much. I'd like to meet. I bet you can't even shake that guy's hand. I bet you he's got a great big, huge fucking hand. You can't shake that motherfucker. He just fucking dwarf you. The motherfucker doesn't even have to swing, and he hits the ball. And of course, being from New York, you got to be a baseball fan. And where was they played it during the Civil War.
Baseball was played during the Civil War. Yes, it was.
Abner Doubleday.
Yeah, baseball is a derivation of the British game.
Dwayne Allman says he went to Cooperstown, I think, last summer or the summer before.
DA in chat, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. No, I have never been to Cooperstown.
I've been down that way, but never been there. I spent a lot of time around Utica, between Utica, actually Herkimer.
Utica, they're right next to each other.
Because I worked in Rome. I was all over.
We went to Herkimer when I was, I don't know, maybe 10 years old. And we were chipping rocks, getting crystals. I still have some of the crystals.
I met some people on the Onondaga Indian Reservation. Great people down there. Really good people. Yep. I was on recruiting duty. I go walk around on the fucking streets all the time. I just go out, wander around the street. They see that uniform, it attracts everybody. I sold the Navy pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
That's why Logical's mad at me. Yeah, I think he wanted to be in the nuclear power or whatever, but the Navy wouldn't let him in for some reason.
He might have had flat feet. I mean, you don't know why.
Yeah, well, I wonder how many times he burnt his feet.
I don't know. You know who that guy Alex Alberto is?
I'm not even reading my chat. Let me look.
Well, he posted 10 minutes ago now.
Yeah, it's probably fucking Alvaro's army or some shit. It's the Latinos. Sorry, VB. You're only half Latino, VB, by the way. That was crazy in JC's chat.
I missed it all. I didn't, like I said, I went by and I watched it for a while and I was listening and then I kind of,
I went up on the panel a couple times. Tammy was screaming like usual. It's like the old days. Only this time I didn't get timed out, put backstage or anything like that. You could just let her rip, potato chip. And she was hating on everybody. We got to let her get it out. Hopefully she'll come around. Tammy, he just.
If she wouldn't be,
he needs to quit.
Let me just say this, Billy. If she wasn't like that, she wouldn't be Tammy. She wouldn't be the same person we all know, right?
Yeah, but her problem is she rolls blunts, so she's putting cigar tobacco mixing in with a fucking joint.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what some people do them. Yeah.
Yeah, I roll a blunt. They roll me a blunt. They'll roll me a blunt and stick it between my teeth.
Personally, I don't really enjoy smoking blunts. I have hit some blunts before. Dude, I found one day right on the subway. The guy next to me got up and left, and it was sitting there on his seat like it fell out of his pocket. Big pre-rolled blunt. It was all rolled up and everything. So I picked that thing up, put it in my.
They'll roll a fucking half a nickel in one.
Yeah. I went up.
I get 7 joints out of that.
I went up and I got in my car. I started driving home. I lit that thing up. And I was gagging and choking. I didn't smoke it all.
I want that taste of that cigar tobacco in with my fucking pot. Fuck that.
If I smoke a real cigar, I'll turn green and puke. You know, why would I want to mix that?
I used to smoke Swisher Sweets. I like Swisher Sweets, especially the cherry. So are you planning another trip?
Sorry.
Are you planning another trip?
I'm going out west. August 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. I'll be in Virginia City, Montana, streaming my buddy's band again.
So, and you have grandchildren out there?
Children?
No grandchildren yet?
None of my own kids have grandchildren. Stephanie has grandchildren.
Yeah.
I have step grandchildren.
So how many? Let me ask. How many kids does Stephanie have? 2. 2 kids. And they're grown. They're full grown, right?
Yeah, they're all grown up.
They're all grown. Obviously, if she has grandchildren, a fucking brain fart.
Mm-hmm. So, I still have hope. My daughters are still young and unmarried, but they may or may not have kids. I don't know. My son is 34.
Well, if I were just 30 years younger.
He's had plenty of girlfriends, but I never no one that, you know. Guys are never too old to have kids, though. That's the truth. You could produce children when you're 80.
I tell you one that won't ever have kids because he's bragged he had a vasectomy. That fucking LD Live, that guy. The one that pissed on that woman's jacket.
I know LD. Listen, LD's a friend of mine.
LD is a friend of mine. He will blow me anytime for a nickel, for a dime, 50 cents for overtime. Oh, I thought that was my brother. Could you hear that bike that just went by?
I heard it.
Sorry about the fucking adolescent joke. I can't help it.
That's okay.
LD is a fucking space cadet if there ever was one. The fucker gets drunk and sets his fire on. See, I'm fucking catching a buzz. I can't even talk right. He's got me laughing. LD, come on up.
You think
he's another one like Patrick Rowe, right? I won't let him up. I won't let him show on my panel. They get madder than a fucker.
Yeah, people in chat there's all different types. They're all different kind of people in chat. I think, I think that chat makes the world smaller. That's what I find, right?
Hey, a friend of mine was here earlier today, and he won't come up with me. He won't come in, not even right. And I'm learning the technology. I'm behind. When I come out of the Navy, went into college, I was behind all of them, except for the fact, my math classes. I aced every math class I had. all the way through calculus.
I did very well in math, all except for calculus. I did not ace calculus.
Statistics.
If I remember, I was lucky to pass calculus.
Yeah, well, I aced it. I got a lot of perfects in that class. Helen Beggs was the math teacher there when I went. You know,
Saul says he loves the adolescent jokes.
I figured he would. That's why they tune in.
Okay. So they got the backhoe on premises. Now they got the chainsaw running.
I can hear chainsaw.
Yeah, they loped a bunch of limbs across the street.
Now, my nephew Scotty, he doesn't do it now, but he used to. He worked for a tree service up here, and they did some work down there by you. So he'd be gone all week.
Go up the tree with the saw and lope the limbs. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bless you.
Excuse me. Beer makes you burp.
Okay, Billy, I'm going to go. Thanks for having me up.
Hey, Doug, thanks for coming up and saying hello. I appreciate it. And stay out of trouble.
I try. I'll do my.
It's troll night. It's troll Tammy night in my chat. Tammy needs to come here.
Okay.
She was already here earlier, and then I just erased her comment. She's not banned or anything. Like, she came here and gave me the old wave. She's on a rant. You give her time, she bubbles over and she'll show up.
Okay.
And I'm not watching JC's. I was before you just come up. And then, of course, unless somebody comes up, I'm going to go back to listening to Mark Levid and see what's going on in the world. It's 7:18, so he's almost on a commercial right now.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. Cheers, JC.
Okay. We'll see you later, Billy.
We'll see you later, Doug. See you later, Doug. That's to you too, Doug. Tammy, you're welcome to come up here. If you want to battle just me, that's fine. If you want to have a conversation with other, that's fine. I don't think Mina's going to come in here. If Mina comes in here, Tammy, you're fucked. There's a whole fucking crowd that'll follow her in here.
Surrender the Middle East to terrorists. Surrender Europe to the Russians. Surrender the Far East.
No, we're not going to allow that to happen.
Does that make sense to
Whether you like it or not, Vanguard, America's going to have to save your dumb ass again.
That's Tlaib. That's Omar.
Now he's talking about
That's
Tlaib
AOC.
Omar from where? Minnesota?
That's Raskin. That's insanity.
Back
Giving
to the
aid and
fucking
comfort to
hatred.
the enemy. With the things that you say. The usurpation and undermining of our commander-in-chief. That's not patriotism. That's not wisdom. That's not prudence. That's not MAGA. I watched some of my friends in broadcasting trip all over themselves. They have two minds. They half of this, half of that. They're embarrassing themselves. It's times like this. It's times like this where the good guys stand up. Here at home, you got to have the courage to speak out. Those of you who go on my social sites, you need to know one thing. I don't live on the internet. I find that the isolationists, the un-American isolationists, they live on the internet. They build their business on the internet. They build their business on how many hits and clicks and all the rest they can get.
Not me.
That's where they live. That's where they believe everybody lives.
This is
But it's
strictly
not where
original
everybody
and organic.
There's a reason why Chatsworth, Osborne, Carlson keeps track
Tucker
of
Carlson, holy fuck, he's hot on
people
him.
who are older than 14 years old.
I remember when Tucker Carlson
Oh.
first came on TV. I'm like, just another rich
Sean
kid.
Hannity, 62.
Just another
I'm
kid from
67.
fucking some Hollywood rich family, right? And it
Ben
turns
Shapiro's
out,
not old.
What? Swanson
Ferguson's not old.
Food family.
Brian Mudd's not old.
Swanson
There's
Foods.
many
Yeah, they
people
make
in this
TV
business.
dinners.
They're not old. But what does that have to do with anything? Nothing. They're now turning on our president. And by turning on our president, they're turning on our troops.
Beer made me hungrier.
They claim to be patriotic, but they're patriotic for the wrong side. For the wrong side. Now, people want to use their platforms to give Chatsworth, Carlson space to trash me. Go for it, baby. Do it all you want. I'm not going anywhere. I just got the ratings for our top 15 markets, literally today.
Violent cramping, that's
Our ratings are through the roof. I'm crushing every single competitor who's up against me in radio. Every single one. Our show on Fox. If it's not the highest rated weekend show, maybe it's the second highest rated weekend show. It depends what's up against us. At 8 p.m. on Sunday, for instance, we're up against 60 Minutes. On Saturdays and Sundays, we've been up against every playoff game, Super Bowl, World Series. That's the nature of 8 p.m. on Saturdays and Sundays. We do fantastically. Absolutely fantastic. It's because of you. I'm still on TV. Chatsworth is busy getting billionaires to subsidize his program. I don't have billionaires subsidizing my program. I don't have foreigners subsidizing my program. I don't. I have you listening and watching, and it makes all the difference in the world. I'll be right back.
Mark Levin. News Talk 105.9 WMAL, making sense of the news.
Hey, if you have ugly yellow toe fungus, you got to hear about the secret 2-minute trick that I found for my husband. It works from both the inside and the outside. Thousands of people are using it to get rid of their toe fungus. You can check it out at crystalflush.com. Jake started off with a small spot on his big toe, and then it spread and got really bad. His toes were nasty. It was so embarrassing. He was afraid to take his socks off. He hid his yellow and crumbly.
Proceeds to fucking for the next 5 hours do the same shit over.
He developed his foreign policy. He developed his economic policy. He decided what he wanted to do. You know, these stories about Mark Levin met with Trump, 2 weeks ago, and now persuaded Trump to bomb Iran. It's all a lie. He asked my opinion. I gave my opinion. And guess what? It's the same opinion you've heard from me for months. He'll listen to many opinions and he'll decide. And he'll decide. Times like these, Saudi Americans are doing something.
My side chat's open.
Diversifying your physical goal, which is attacked us, tried to kill our president. You have a country in Israel that killed Nasrallah. Maybe people don't give a damn that guy killed hundreds of our Marines. Maybe they just don't care. I'm not talking about you, obviously. Maybe these people just don't give a damn that he killed hundreds of our citizens in 2 American embassies. They just don't seem to give a damn.
I should.
Oh, well. And Israel takes this guy out, and the isolationists, the hate America isolationists, fake men, they still don't.
That's a cardinal making that sound. It's gonna rain. I'm going off air. I'll be back later. I'm gonna shut this program down. See everybody later.
A hard worker and expert was hired by Donald Trump